This month of the How's All That Workin' For You podcast is sponsored by J. Brooks Coffee Roasters in Memphis, Tennessee. Urban Joe is the house favorite at J. Brooks for cold brew coffee. The legendary flavor of Urban Joe will ignite your taste buds with captivating shades of cocoa and cream. With a pleasantly balanced, bold body, the dark roast lover will fall head over heels for this roast. Cold brew is very quick and simple to make. It contains 2/3 less acids than hot brew coffee, so it's a perfect choice for anyone who has reflux or needs a stomach-friendly option for coffee. And if you make cold brew at home, you can make both cold and hot coffee with your solution. Everyone loves an adventure story. Make your day an epic adventure with a steaming cup or cold brew of Urban Joe. To order this signature blend for yourself and learn more about J. Brooks Coffee, click the link in the show notes or visit jbrookscoffeeroasters.com. That's the letter J, brookscoffeeroasters.com. You are officially invited to create some breathing room. This is the absolute best podcast to find the strategies, resources, and motivation you need to stop drowning in overwhelm, break free from hustle culture, and live out your God-given purpose. I'm your host, Rachel Baker, and girl, I've been there, done that. It is my God-given purpose to help you find space for an intentional life so you can confidently live in those strengths, skills, and passions that light you up and serve others. I know you are ready to create some breathing room, so let's do it together. Hey, welcome to episode 15 of Create Some Breathing Room. Today, we are talking about my absolute favorite time management tools. And we're just going through some of these today to wrap up our season, our month, talking about these intentional rhythms, these intentional routines. How do you keep them? What systems and tools do you have that actually help you keep that rhythm and routine? So that's what I want to share with you today. Anything that I mention, if there is a link to be shared, it's in the show notes. They're all going to be there for you at the end. I want you to know I somehow made it all the way to the age of 39 before receiving my diagnosis of ADHD. And when I did finally go through the evaluation, the doctor wasn't like, oh, okay, yeah, that fits. It was like, oh, sis. No, you don't just kinda have ADHD. You have raging ADHD. It's like 98th percentile ADHD. Okay, cool. And this episode is not specifically about ADHD. I just want to preface it with this to let you know I have been on a constant search for tools and resources and strategies that could help with time management my entire life without even realizing why it was so difficult for me. I have tried so many different planners and organizers and methods over the years, so now you get to learn from my experience. Also, there is no one-size-fits-all fix here, but I am going to share a variety of tools, why I love them, and I hope maybe at least one of these could be a game changer for you too. So I just have, I think, 3 main categories that these fall within. So this shouldn't be a long one. The first category, I guess, that I see my time management tools in are tools that manage your literal time. I'm talking like a timer, clock. Okay. So I have an actual timer. Kind of think of your kitchen timer, those egg timers, except I don't like those. They work really great for some people, but I need mine to be super cool and interesting and also not expensive. Those are my criteria. It needs to do the job, make sure I don't go over on time on my tasks, and it needs to look cool. So I have linked one in the show notes that I love and use. It's got a clock. You can set it to different time increments. Do you need 5 minutes, 15, 30, 45? You can choose how long you need it to go for, and then it will go off at that time increment. So if I need to get a task done, but I can't spend more than 30 minutes on it, I've got to set that timer or I will sit here all day long, hyper-focused. So I have one that I specifically use and love. I'm going to link it. It's amazing. You'll love it. Check the show notes. There's two others that I really like in this literal time management category. One is on social media apps. A lot of them have a time restrictor built in. Like you can go into the settings either on the app or just on your phone in general and say, hey, I need to limit how much time I'm spending doing my doom scrolling here. So on my Instagram app, after 20 minutes, this little notification pops up and is like, hey, Rachel, it's been 20 minutes. Don't you think it's time to get off the gram? And sometimes I'm like, no, shut up. I'm getting a dopamine fix here. But most of the time I'm like, oh, thank you. It felt like 2 minutes. It's been 20? Cool. And I get off. So that in and of itself, when you have time blindness, you just don't even realize how much time has passed. Super helpful. And then just a basic alarm. You can have an alarm on your phone. You can have it on your watch. Just set something at a certain time of day. Maybe not, I only need 30 minutes, but maybe at this time of day, I'm going to get up and walk around, or I'm going to get up and have some lunch. Whatever it is, set an alarm, take a break, do whatever the next thing is you need to do. So those are literal time management tools. And those are some of my favorites. The next category would be the paper planners, the paper calendars. And there are a few, like I said, I've gone through a lot of these. I just kind of love them and want to purchase all of them, especially if I think they're pretty. But the ones that are actually super effective for me have been the Passion Planner. I love the Passion Planner. I've actually been using this one since, it's been like early 2000s. Before I had children, and my first child was born in 2008. So there's that. But I love these because there is a page for each month. So you can get the month at a glance. And then I like the one that you can see the whole week at a glance. But each day is broken into 30-minute increments. So I can really plan out my day. This was super helpful when I had lots of meetings. I was scheduling tons of appointments when I was working in special ed. And I use it now for my meetings, my interviews, my everything, basically, my kids' doctor's appointments. So it works well for that. There's space for creativity, your to-do lists, all of that. It just gives me that visual all at once. So I love my Passion Planner. There's a lot more to it. If you love setting goals and monitoring those throughout the year and coming back and reflecting, we've talked about the importance of reflection. That's in there. So I love it. On my wall, I have a really big year-long calendar. So every month of the year, at a glance, I can see the whole year. And this one's great for when I'm needing to know, am I in town? Are we out of town? When is school starting? When is somebody's birthday? I have just the big main events. Do I have a speaking engagement? Do I have a conference? That's all on the big wall calendar that I can see all at once. It's also really great for tracking things you're trying to do. So if you're trying to complete a goal within the first quarter of the year, and you can mark what your deadline is and keep track of how much you're getting done each day. I've seen it used for people who are trying to build up endurance with running, or however long they're running, or if you're writing, how many pages are you writing per day? All of those things. So it's the Finish calendar is one that John Acuff has put out. It's got some quotes by him on it. It's great. And you can get it on paper. There are some you can do on dry erase. It's great. And then with those, I also love the Rocketbook. It's just kind of a dry erase notebook, but it feels like paper. But you can write on it with these erasable pens, which is the next thing I'm going to mention. But you write on it with the erasable pens. It comes with a cloth. You get the cloth kind of damp, and you can wipe the page completely clean. So instead of using notebook after notebook after notebook, I love this for my brain dump. I dump all the things that are in my head out in this Rocketbook. I get them sorted, and then I plug them into my planner, into Asana, which is up next, my digital system. We'll talk about that. But the Rocketbook is really great for brain dumping, just getting things out. If you just need to get a to-do list out of your head, I use it for all those things. It's got QR codes in it. You can do all sorts of fancy electronic things that I don't personally use it for, but you can save it as a Google Doc in your Google Drive. You can save it as an email and send it to somebody. There's just so many things you can do with these, and they've got different styles. I just like a plain old notebook that I write on it, and then I erase it and I start over, and it's beautiful. Hey, it's Rachel, your go-to encourager and coach. I know you love our podcast talks, but imagine taking that connection to the next level in person. I'm more than a clarity coach. I'm someone who's been in the trenches, juggling all the things. I get it. I've danced with chaos, overloaded schedules, and the struggle to prioritize self-care. But I found the rhythm. And I've got the strategies to help your ladies create some breathing room. So if you're organizing an event, whether it's a conference, church gathering, or retreat, and you want a speaker who brings humor, real talk, and a dose of inspiration, I'm your girl. Let's chat about making your event a memorable one. Visit racheldbaker.com/speaking. That's racheldbaker.com/speaking. I can't wait to connect. And the pens that we use on this Rocketbook, and that I use on everything else, are Pilot friction pens. None of these people really even know that I exist. I just love their stuff and promote it. These friction pens, they are erasable pens, but there are a bajillion different colors. I love the way that they write, and they make me happy. That's what I use on the Rocketbook. That's what I use on my Passion Planner, everything. And then the last category for me is that digital project management tool. And this is where Asana falls. If you've heard me talk about Asana, it is the system I use online. It's on my computer. It's on my phone. I have an app for it, all the things. And it is how I manage my life. It keeps up with my personal stuff and my work stuff. I put everything in, and then all I have to do is show up and look at what's on today. And I make my way down the list, and then I start over again tomorrow. And it has recurring tasks for me. So those things that I do on a regular basis, whether it's every day or once a week, I check it off and it automatically repopulates the next time I need it to. And I don't have to think about it anymore. And I love that so much. It just frees up my mind to think about other things, to be creative, to live my life and have some breathing room. A couple of other things digitally that can be super helpful with managing your time. There are time trackers. Some are paid, some are free. But these literally, you just go in and you click the start button when you sit down to do something. And when you're finished, you click the button again, and it tracks how long that thing took you. And this is great when you're trying to get a handle on your personal capacity, which we talked about a couple months ago. You really can't have a sense of how long a thing takes until you've really measured it. So there are tools like Harvest, Clockify, Toggle. They all have weird names, but they're out there. Just these time trackers that can keep track of how long did that thing take. And then you can kind of look at your schedule next time that you need to do that thing and go, oh, it's going to take about this long, so I need to make sure I leave that much space in my schedule for it. Super helpful. And then this one's going to sound kind of silly, but Google Calendar, you guys. And if you're an Apple person and you use iCal, then I guess that would be the equivalent. I love my Google Calendar, and it could sound redundant that I'm doing Google Calendar and Asana and I have a paper planner. They all serve their purpose. And the Google Calendar I love because I can share it with others. So when I go to put in school events that my kids have or doctor's appointments or whatever it is, my husband has access to all that as well. So if he's like, hey, we should go do this thing, he can look and go, oh, we've got a 6th grade band concert that night. That won't work, or whatever it is. So I love that aspect that he can just look really quick, or he can put things on it. If he's got a work event, he can put it on the calendar and I can see it. So I love that component of the Google Calendar. Remember, there is not a right or a wrong tool or system when it comes to managing your time and creating some breathing room in your own life. Some of this process is trial and error, and hopefully you can find at least one tool that makes all the difference for you and makes sense for your brain and your lifestyle. Whether it's an actual, literal time tracker, or a paper planner, or one of those digital project management tools, choose one thing that sounds like it could be a really good fit for you. Just one thing, and then take action to implement it. Just thinking like, that could be good, or just buying the planner, that's not going to help you if you don't use it and implement it. If you are still not sure what the next best step or tool is for you, let's jump in a quick coffee chat and sort it out. This is a free 20-minute chat on Zoom, and you get to share your current sticking point with a certified life coach. That's me. The link to get on my schedule is also in the show notes. I would love to help you take that next step. Thanks so much for listening today. Be sure to check the show notes to get links for all the resources mentioned in this episode. As always, your reviews make such a difference, so thank you for taking the time to leave those for us. Your ratings and thoughts mean so much. I love reading each and every one. As we wrap up today, please remember, life can feel crazy and overwhelming sometimes, but you will never regret taking the time to create some breathing room.